Hello and welcome to today's live. We are talking about the quick fix versus the long game. This I've been thinking about since I think probably last week. Somebody asked me, yes, but what can I do to strengthen my dog's back legs? And I'm going like, just hold on. No. But what can I do what exercises can I do? And that's such a loaded question. It's not just an answer. And let me explain to you why. And it gives you I'm going to try and show you the difference between that quick fix and the long game when it comes to conditioning with your dog. But let me first introduce myself. My name is Angela Hearn. I'm owner and founder of the Biokinetic K9. Welcome. So what are we looking at here when we're talking about this quick fix and the long game? Before we answer that is, we need to find out, first of all, what does your dog do? Is your dog a pet at home? Is your dog a working dog? Has he got a job to do? Is he does he do sport? What does your dog do? And once we've got that, what are your goals for your dog? So even if your dog is a pet at home, what are the goals for your dog? Is it going to be just for general health and fitness? What's happening with your dog? Does your dog do search and rescue? What type of search and rescue does your dog do? Does he work in the water? Does he work in the field? What kind of fields? Because let me tell you, the various terrains out there in different fields out there are very different for different dogs. So if you're looking at search and rescue dogs that have to go and search through building rubble, etc., they're very different to the search and rescue or the searching dogs that go out in the veld and protect the rhino. Those dogs have to travel through on helicopters, etc., etc. So what does your dog do? And this is a really important aspect of, before anybody says, oh, what exercises can I do for my dog? What does your dog do? What are your goals? And if somebody says, how can I just strengthen the hind legs of my dogs? Yes, we can strengthen the hind legs of your dogs, but why are the hind legs weak in the first place? We need to look at the dog in context. We need to look at the dog as what does it do and where are you going to with your dog. There's lots of people as well as dogs that let's just make good quads and make real good strong muscles, but their core is weak as anything. What is the point then? Doesn't matter how strong those hind legs are, if the bridge between the front and the back of the dog is weak, then you've got two areas that are not working together, because there's no link that is strong enough to hold those two ends together. So we have to look at these things really carefully. And that quick fix of, what can I do? Just give me some exercises. You need to give me some ideas. First, look at your dog. What does your dog do? So it's many times when people say, give me an exercise for, they all say, like I said, give me an exercise for. The most common one is hind end awareness. But it's not about that label of the exercise. So if I say, it's a tuck sit, it's a rock back sit, it's a fall back down, it's a this, it's that. It's not about the label of the exercise. It's about the dog. Really important. It is about the dog. Bob, hello, welcome. And not many people look at the dog. It's so important to understand your dog. There's certain exercises that just because of the structure of the dog, they do it so easily. And just because of the structure of the dog, it's more difficult for the dog to do. So before you can make the hind end of the dog stronger, what is this angulation looking like? Because certain angulations will hide certain deficiencies in muscle strength. So these things are really important to understand. And it's so difficult for somebody to say on this side of the camera, do a few of these things, because we need to look at your dog. We need to look at your dog's body. We need to look at your dog's sport. Each sport creates different strengths and weaknesses in the dog. You may be looking at various sit exercises, but which sit exercise must your dog concentrate on for your sport? There's different things. We need to look at these. We have to take this into account. So yes, the dogs need to do these exercises, but certain sports promote various strengths around the body for that sport and then ignore other areas of the body, and there are imbalances then. So now you have to do various exercises to help correct those imbalances so that the dog's body becomes strong. So it's not this quick fix. It's a thing you want to look at with your dog. So if you are talking about your pet dog and you're looking at general wellness, general health, general fitness, awesome. Go for hikes. Something is better than nothing. It's better than lying on the couch all day with the dog. Something is better than nothing. But if your dog is doing a sport, or even if your pet dog has got to have a goal for some or other medical situation, if your dog is doing a sport, if it's doing a particular job, then we need to target our exercises, because you can't just go in and go, oh, do these exercises. And before you start targeting your exercises, the dog must be able to actually do the various kind of exercises correctly, so that the whole body is working in good form. So that when you are doing your exercises, they're not doing these exercises, how can we say, where there are actually compensations happening because the dog doesn't understand the form. So it's always about the dog, the body, the sport. What do you look at and how do you look at the dog? And then besides the dog, you have to look at yourself, because we're talking about how you work your dog. When you're working your dog, what is happening with the body? Is your body in the correct position so that your dog's body is correct? How do you treat the exercise? How do you reward the exercise? All these things must be taken into consideration. It's not just this quick fix of, can you list some of the exercises for me? That's why there are people that have gone into this and they've worked really hard and they've become certified so that they can give you the best information for your dog. It's not just taking your dog to gym. Like I see it all the time. You see so many people in the gym and they do the exercise and it's not quite right. You see those funny videos on social media of the people going all around in the gym and the weights are pulling them everywhere. The same thing for your dog. You need to do it properly. The difference between the athlete that does the exercise correctly and the gym goer, the gym buddy guy, you can see it in their bodies. You can see the person's body where he knows what he's doing. Because exercise and movement are not the same. So even though an exercise activity requires movement, just moving is not the same as exercise. Yes, some movement is better than nothing. It's better than lying around and your dog is doing nothing all day. Get them moving, super. But when it comes to exercise is defined as a planned, structured, repetitive and intentional movement. So everything that you're doing with your dog as an exercise, it's planned. There's structure. You are going to repeat it a few times and it is intentional because you wanted to target something in particular. You want to target certain muscles. It's not just we're hiking today or we're going for a run today or we're going to do some extra training today. Extra training, you're working on a particular skill for your sport. But when it comes to conditioning, exercise, and fitness gym, you are targeting muscles. And you're taking this dog who doesn't understand a word of English, and you are managing that body so that the body can work in a way to target the exercise, target the muscles in the dog's body to complement the sport with the body that it's got. That's what you're doing. It's not just, oh, can you give me some exercises? You must understand this. But so your exercise activity is very different to just movement exercises. I can go and tell you to go do a couple of downs to stands or do a couple of sits to stands or sits to downs or whatever the case may be. And it's completely different to having your dog actually do the movement, perform the exercise in a way that is meaningful and works the body. That is what is so important. So all of these planned, structures, repetitive, intentional movements, all of these things, they are intended to improve or at a minimum maintain physical fitness. So there must be an improvement or a maintenance. But if you don't do those things wrong, after a while you start to there's no improvement. And then people wonder why there's no improvement. We've been doing all these exercises, but have you been working the dog's body correctly? That is what's so important. Has the movements been executed correctly? Because if you don't execute them correctly, you can do more damage. Why can damage happen with exercises? Because it's repetitive. So if your dog is doing some sits, and every time he's skewing his sit, and he's doing this 10 times, 1 or 2 times is not a problem. But if he's doing it 10 times and 3 sets of it, then what are you doing? You are causing imbalances. You're causing muscle knots. You can cause a potential injury, which shows up in the sport. And then what happens? Oh, this is rubbish. But you haven't been mindful in the execution. So when it comes to doing exercises with your dog, please speak to somebody that knows what they're doing. This is so important. Somebody not only that knows what they're doing, but that you can get on with and you can ask questions to. Because in the end, it's your understanding of the exercise that transfers and flows onto your dog's ability to do the movement. If you don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing the exercise, you may skip over it. I did it. So that's why that understanding of why you're doing the exercise is so important, because then you develop the eye and you know why you're doing the exercise and you know what to look for in your dog's body, and you develop that critical eye, and then you really are reading your dog's body in whatever he's doing, whether it be on the field or off the field. And you can pick up any discomforts so much quicker. That mindfulness. So when it comes to fitness and conditioning, it is a mental and a physical development, both for handler and dog. That mental development, that understanding that comes from what you're doing with your dog, it takes time to read your dog. The more you do it, the better you become. The brain is a muscle too. That development, it takes time to understand. That knowing about an exercise, that understanding behind the exercise, why you're doing this exercise, why you are concentrating on a particular sit and not the other sit. Although both are important, but there's one that you need to concentrate because of your dog's shape or because of the sport that you're doing. These things are really important to understand. And not only is it that time that it takes for that mental development to understand with you, the handler, but also the mental understanding for the dog, that mind-body connect, that muscle memory that's happening in the body, that comes with practice. It takes time. So when we do an exercise and I just tell you, oh, I'll just do some fold back downs, and you thinking, well, my dog can already do that. What's the other thing that we must do? That's the trick right there. It's not that your dog can already do it. Most dogs can do this once, twice, put him on the field. We practice the down on the move with our dogs in any case in IGP. What's the big idea? My dog knows how to go down and he knows how to get up. He does it all day, every day. But when it comes to exercise, can he do it repeated? Can he repeat that same exercise in the correct form with the same technique every time? Is he engaging those same muscles? It's exactly the same as with us. We get up and sit down all day. We've got to go and sit down on the toilet. We get up and sit down off the couch. We get up and sit down in the car. We get up and sit down to eat, to have supper, to have breakfast, to have lunch. We sit in our desks and we have to get up to go and speak to somebody. We do this all day. But let me ask you to do 3 sets of 10 squats deliberately with meaning. The bodies can't always do it. Why? Because we are working particular muscles when we go and squat. Even if we're doing just normal chair squats, we're not even going lower than 90-degree bend in our knees. We are looking at particular exercises. We're working particular muscles in a repetitive fashion with meaning behind them. It's so much more to go do a chair squat a number of times than to sit and get up off your chair all day. The exact same thing, that exact same thought, that same mindset happens in conditioning. It's not that your dog can do a down, it's can he do a down to a stand in a particular way, and can he repeat it? And then if he can repeat it, you building up that muscle, the time that those muscle fibers take to develop. The body doesn't just happen. It doesn't just arrive. Nobody goes to the gym and arrives and walks out with this beach body piece of magnificence that you think. It takes work. It takes time. The nice thing about it, even with, I've experienced this with my own dog, I've experienced it with people that I work with, the dogs pick it up really quickly. They can do it. Even when I started out and I saw this exercise, oh my word, how am I going to get my dog to do that? It's going to take forever. I don't have time for this. The dogs get it really quickly, especially if you know what to do and you know how to handle and you can guide that dog. Riani, hello. Oh, it's so nice to have you here. So the dogs pick this up easily. They can do it. And then that you get them to do it all the time in a particular way because you know how to guide them, you know how to watch them. And then they are getting that muscle endurance and that muscle stamina. And then it transfers onto the field. Why go and train and repeat the training, because the dog's body is not strong enough to do it? Just take the dog, know and analyze what part of him is weak. Strengthen that in the conditioning. Strengthen it in the conditioning. Make your dog strong. Make the dog competent in his body, in his ability to do it. Then go and practice your task on the field. And you'll see how quickly he picks it up. But to go and go onto your training field and to repeat an exercise over and over, and the dog has got a weak core or there's a tight muscle or something, all you're teaching your dog is how to compensate really effectively. And let me tell you, they do. They will work the muscles. They'll do whatever they need to do to get their body into position, and they become excellent compensatory beings. And we don't know. And then an injury happens. Rather, if your dog is struggling on the field, go and correct the weakness. Make your dog's body strong, and then practice that exercise again. That's so important. If you want to deliver strong dogs that are competent and have the ability to do the exercise, prepare the body for the sport. Prepare the body. Prepare everything. Make the body strong in what it has to do, and then go and do the sport. And the results are going to be mind-blowing. I can promise you that because I am seeing it. So, that quick fix, it's not just about your list of exercises. How can I fix my dog's back end? How can I fix my dog's shoulder strength? It's not about that. Riani, thank you. You fully agree. Thank you so much. It's not just about that. It's preparing the body. And then when you look at the body, what is that structure of the body? What is the sport you're going to be doing with that dog? Each sport brings with it its own strengths and weaknesses. Know about them and prepare your dog's body for that. Don't go for the quick fix. Learn about your dog. And if you can't go and learn about your dog, speak to somebody that knows so that they can help you and show you and get you through and protect your dog that way. Speak to someone that knows, somebody that you can ask questions to, somebody that can guide you, that will look after you and your dog through that process so that you can go out and compete, or you can go out and do that work that your dog has been purposely bred for, so that you can do those things. Ronnie, you're saying it's the bigger picture you have to look at. My word, yes, it is. It's always the bigger picture. It's not this quick fix. It's the long game. Because if you play that long game, you always have that benefit with you. You always have that that knowledge. You can always look at your dog. You can always go back to an exercise and work it and get your dog through. You want that long game. You don't want the quick fix. Quick fixes have holes in it. You do it in training. If there's a quick fix in training, that hole comes out. Later on, when you are really pushing your dog and now you want to get titles, etc., that hole comes out and you've got problems. The same in your conditioning. Don't skimp on your knowledge when it comes to how to do an exercise. There are no quick fixes, because why? The body itself is a process. All of this flesh, you need to strengthen the muscles. Once the muscles are strong, that strength transfers into the tendons, and that takes time. It protects the joints. So don't go for the quick fix. Look at what you're doing. Learn about your dog. Learn about your sport. Learn about the structure. Find somebody that can help you get there. They know what they're talking about. They've taken a long time to learn about these things. Use them. They are there to help you. And then go and make your dog and transform your dog into that magnificent animal that he is. Because I tell you, he is. Oh, I just go cold. I love to watch them. So thank you so much for watching us. If you want to learn a little bit more, we have various workshops that go a little bit into this, about what happens in sport, especially the IGP dogs, how you can quickly spot any injuries before they crop up and become a major thing. It happened just this weekend. A friend of mine said, oh, my dog is this. There was a strange pickup on a bite. I'm worried. And sure enough, she went and investigated 2 muscle knots, one in the neck and shoulder, and it's just muscle knots that are being massaged out. No injury, just tight muscles because of a strange pickup and it can happen to anyone. But if she didn't know what to look at, when she wasn't too sure and she just continued training, what then? So take your dog, train the body. There's no quick fix. So learn about these things with your dog and transform them into that awesomeness that they are, so that the sport becomes alive and your dog goes, wow. And you even go, wow, because I do that with my own dogs. I go, wow, when I see them on the field. Have an awesome training weekend. I was going to say, yes, if you want to know anything about it, you can contact me. Oh, I'm too busy with the topic to even tell you where you can contact me. Angela Hearn at the Biokinetic K9. Oh, my word. My email address, fit@thebiokinetick9.com. And I'll put up my information now. So try and avoid that quick fix of just getting some exercises quickly. It's not about that. You can do harm, and we'd never want to do any extra harm to our dogs. We want to make them excel. We want to make them strong in their bodies. So let me just put up my information over here and put that one up, put that one down, and say to everybody, let me see here, have a very awesome weekend. Cheers, everybody.